Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Today I have a fun fold for a Slimline Diamond Z-fold card so that it will fit into Stampin' Up's Slimline envelopes. When you open out the card, this is the pop-up bit, and there's somewhere else for you to sign your name and also to address the recipient. When you close it, it just looks like this. The stamps that I'm using is Desert Details and the Desert Details dies. You'll find this in the January to April mini for 2023 on page 43. The designer series paper I'm using is called the Desert Details DSP, and they are 12 by 12 inch sheets or 30.5 by 30.5 centimeters, and this is the pattern. This is the one we're using today. So there are dots, an Aztec design, soft succulent hues, and then on the reverse sort of I'm also using the dried brushed metallic specialty designer series paper. There are 4 sheets in the pack, 2 each of this design and 2 each of that design, and they're single-sided. The ink I'm using is Calypso Coral. I wanted to see how it would work on a slimline card so that it would go into the slimline envelopes Stampin' Up supplies. So this is cut at 7 inches by 8.5 inches, and in metric that's 18 centimeters by 21.5 centimeters. Then on the short side you score at 1 3/4 inches and at 3.5 inches, and in metric that's 4.5 and at 9 centimeters. Then to create the Z fold, simply fold back on itself like so. For the front panel, the designer series paper I used was from Desert Details, and you need this well, you can choose any pattern, but I just thought that this pattern went quite well with the Cajun Craze cardstock. So I'm going to glue that down. Then for the inside panel, I'm using the same design, and this has been cut at 3.25 by 8.25, and in metric that is 8.5 by 21 centimeters. So glue that on here, leaving an even border all round as well. Next you want to take a ruler and a pencil, and you want to mark 4.25 inches on this score line here, and also on the center score line. Okay, you cut 2 squares. These are your diamonds because they're going to be glued on to its side, and they measure 2 3/8 by 2 3/8, and in metric that's 6 by 6 centimeters. Now because I don't want glue to seep through beyond this fold here, we're only going to be gluing it on 1/2 of the square. So I'm going to put tear and tape on the diagonal like so, and just cut off the excess. You need to be fairly accurate with this. And do the same for this one. So you put your tear and tape down on the points, okay? And cut that off. So when you look at it, it's on the right hand side that you have to place your glue, okay? So you don't want to place it all the way through on the right hand side. So take this off, and then you want to put the point right on the fold here. Find where your pencil mark is, and that's where it will glue down, okay? You can see this is the diagonal, so this is the bit that doesn't want to be glued, but this bit you do want glue on it. Take the tape off. So check which side it has to be glued down, and it's this side. So butt it up to that 2-inch mark and make sure that the points meet up on that score line, and then there you have it. Now you need 3 diamonds for the inside of the card. So actually they go like that. And these measure 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, and in metric that will be 5.5 centimeters. But we're going to set that aside first because we're going to need the pop-up mechanism to make this pop. And this has been cut at 3 inches by 2.5 inches, and on the long side you score at every 3/4 inch, so it's 3/4 inches, 1.5 and 2.25. Okay, then you burnish the lines, and in metric this will be 8 centimeters by 6.5 centimeters, and you score every 2 centimeters, so it's 2, 4 and 6. 2, 4, 6, and that will be 8 centimeters by 6.5. So you fold it in half, and then you only apply adhesive on the outer edges, okay? So where you made the mark at 4 1/4 inches, you want to butt that up to the line so that it's equidistant, so it's half and half on there. Right on the score line, and make sure that your card can still close, and that this score line is hidden. The cardstock is hidden behind this panel, alright? Then you put adhesive on this side. Leave a gap from the top and the sides, all sides, so that the glue doesn't seep out and beyond the score lines, and then you'll find you won't be able to open it. Make sure that that's bonded. So that's secure now. So there's a little box. Can you see that? Now we're going to go through the designer series paper that you need. And you want a nondescript pattern. You don't want a directional pattern if you can, because you don't want things upside down, do you? To avoid mistakes, that you glue the designer paper on after you've put your diamonds on. Did I say what measurements they were? It's 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, and in metric that's 5.5 centimeters. Now for the diamonds inside these, you want to adhere those before you adhere it to your inside of the card. Now these two basic white ones and one brushed metallic to match that. So this one measures 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 in the brush metallic, and 2 in the basic white, also 1 7/8 by 1 7/8, and in metric that's 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters. We'll set those aside because you need to stamp it before you glue it onto these, but you can glue the one that has the designer series paper on, and we'll glue that onto this, and then you have to glue the middle one on before you glue these two. Alright, we'll set those aside. Now this will actually jut out, so if you put it in the middle there, you'll find that that comes out. So you need to trim a bit off, and you need to do it by eye so that that is a square as well. Okay, so do it by eye and you can make sure that that looks square here. Okay, then you flip it over and you take a pair of scissors and then cut along there. Alright, then pop that over and then stick that on. Just check, you still need to trim it a little bit, so I'm going to do that with a cutter, and I think I'll just trim a tad off, say about 1/16 of an inch. I'm just going to put adhesive on the edge like so and offer it up here in the middle. Just check the position, make sure it's in the right position. Then I'm going to stamp with this long stamp in Calypso Coral, and I've lined it up with the diamonds on this line here, and I'm just going to stamp, line it up point on point, re-ink the stamp and stamp again. Now I can glue these bits to the inside matte layers. I'm going to put Tombow adhesive on the back of this, and I'm going to allow it to dry so that it will be repositionable. Then take our scrap and stamp the sentiment, stamp our flower, stamp 2 flowers, and without re-inking stamp another. Bring in my die cutting platforms, platform 1, thin die adapter platform 2, base cutting plate platform 3, or one of the platform 3s. I'm going to cut this Aztec design out of Cajun Craze, and the stamped images, get some washi tape and stick that down so that it doesn't move. Put all the dies on with the cutting edge face down, top platform 3 cutting plate, then I'll run it through the machine and I'll be back. I've got a bit of trimming to do. So I'll do this with a pair of scissors so I don't accidentally cut off bits that I do want. Now this leaf here I'm going to have to trim because it is much too long, and I want it to come down to about there. So I'll just snip some of that off and then put adhesive on the frond here so I can attach it. Bring in my silicone mat because I know it's going to stick to me. To save time, I've put dimensionals on the backs of this, so I'm going to put this one here and remove the backing tape. And put this along here. I need a bit of adhesive on the back, on the lower portion of the leaves, and tuck this in. Add a dimensional in afterwards. I've put some sealant tape on that portion there. I'm going to put my words in first, then I'll know where the flowers should go. Right, that can go there. Make sure that it's free from the fold there, and that can go on top like so. Now that that's been given a chance to dry, it becomes repositionable, and I want to hide that behind. So this is buttered up to the score line here, like so. Okay, and similarly with this one. So that's hidden behind. When it's in the envelope, it's like that. Then when you open it, you can see who it's to and who it's from. So that's your Slimline Diamond Z-Fold with the Desert Details bundle. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Thanks for joining me. Do pop back for more inspiration next time. As usual, you'll find all the list of supplies below this video in the Show More section. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram, and if you'd like to read more, then hop over to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. The link to the post is also below with all the measurements and everything for the card. Thanks for watching. Bye.